Hi everyone, this is Revolution Ricky here in my house, in my office at Casa de Revolution, here to do another video. I went to the record store on Thursday with my wife to get some supplies, and I really can't leave that place without buying something, so I bought me a few records and a few CDs, and I'm here to show them off what I got. Uh, Also, if you would hit like, subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. Um, let's make this channel grow. Well, without further ado, let's get on with it. I bought two records, one for my wife, which I'm not going to show off, but uh, she has it in her collection now. It was Bugsy Malone with Scott Baio and Jodie Foster. A little bit of a white label promo, but I saw something that caught my eye, and usually when I see something, I'll usually get it. And this is an original pressing, and I paid about like $10 for it. It still has the price sticker on here, but it's in pretty good condition. I played it the other day, and it's my favorite album by Black Sabbath. Um, and it's always been a personal favorite. I picked up Heaven and Hell. Everybody knows that I rave about Rodney James Dio, and this is one of the albums that I had to listen to. Of course, it has the songs Neon Nights, Heaven and Hell, Die Young, Children of the Sea, which is a good one. Lady Evil, Heaven and Hell. I'm always quoting that little tidbit. The world is full of kings and queens who blind your eyes and steal your dreams. And I'm always quoting that. And the record is actually pretty good. It has a few dents here and there, but nothing really major. Not, you know, has a few scratches on it, but nothing real serious. Good condition. Picked this up relatively cheap for like $10. It was really not that expensive. I think I walked away out of there with, getting my supplies and stuff for like 22 bucks. And I've always liked, going to the record store over there, and because I don't really collect comic books anymore. I'm semi-retired from that, but it has some damage over here, but really it's a great, in pretty good condition, and I really couldn't pass that up for 10 bucks because the reissues cost like 25 or $30, maybe even more. But maybe my friend Michael can be jealous because I got an original pressing of Heaven and Hell. And I picked up a few CDs. I actually love these two bands. All of them I'm going to show off. This one CD, was debating on whether to get it, but I'm glad I did. Journeys Raised on Radio. This was the next to the last Journey album before they went into a sabbatical. I mean, Neil Sean and Jonathan Cain went off to do Bad English with John Waite, and I think he did Hardline. I'm not real 100% sure. I think Neil Sean did Hardline, and then they reconvened for Journey again in the late 90s. But this came out in 86, and it's got some good songs on it, like The Girl Can't Help It. Raised on, Be Good to Yourself. Sorry, tongue twister. I'll Be All Right Without You, which is a great breakup song. Kind of was my theme a little bit in my teen years with my ex-girlfriend. It was a very good album to get into, and I picked it, like I said, I picked it up for like $3, $3 or $4. It was relatively cheap. All the CDs I got over there are used, and they're very good. And of course, it's got the liner notes, maybe the lyrics to each of the songs, and picture of Steve Perry, Jonathan Cain, and Neil Sean. But this was always high on my list because I like Journey. They're going out on one final tour and calling it a day. So I always wanted to see him, but never did. Would have loved to have seen him with Steve Perry, but always did like that one. Next on my list is a band that I got their CD, their greatest hits CD for Christmas. This past Christmas. I think it's called 40 Trips Around the Sun or 40 Years Around the Sun. I can't remember the whole title, but I've always loved this band too. And they actually co-headlined it. They did a tour with Journey about a couple of years ago. Toto. Always loved Toto. I love the song Rosanna, I Won't Hold You Back. Africa is a good song. And like I said, I picked this up for like $3. And it was a very good album because I really like Toto. I've always wanted to see them because their music is kind of soft rockish, but really not too hard or heavy. So I really liked Toto a lot. Still do. Everybody doesn't care too much about them, but I do. I like them. Okay, this will segue into a collection, a little bit of a collection, not much. One of my favorite bands, and probably I know that the sister from the church really likes this band a lot, so I picked it up. I've picked up their album from the 90s, also from the record store. I'm talking about that, and they have a song about them. They're just another band out of Boston. I love Boston. You can't go wrong with this album at all, especially the backstory of how it was recorded and made. More Than a Feeling makes you think back to a time where it was so the best, and you had your friends in high school and friends somewhat, where they were. I know where I was when I heard Long Time. I was riding in the car with a friend, some friends of mine, and it came on the radio, and it was so good. And then I knew it was Boston, but I didn't know what album, so I bought the cassette from Columbia House, and back then, you didn't have the internet. You couldn't look up a song and say, "Oh, okay, here we are." You had this little catalog which had all the rock groups, and they had all the rock groups listed in it, and I would see all these rock groups from it. So I love Boston. This one is actually a pretty good album for me. It has More Than a Feeling. Peace of Mind is a good track. Foreplay Long Time is one of my favorites. Rock and Roll Band Smoking is good. Hitch a Ride is good. Something About You and Let Me Take You Home Tonight. They're all good tracks on here. You can't go wrong. Especially the artwork. I love the artwork on these. And Peace of Mind is a good one. I like this one too. I like the back cover because it kind of reminds me of Superman. The first Superman movies with Christopher Reeve and the Fortress of Solitude right there. I like these songs. Don't Look Back. Feeling Satisfied is a good one. A Man, I'll Never Be. It's Easy. Party. Used to Bad News. Used to Bad News. And Don't Be Afraid. All these albums were just very good at the time, and it's a shame that Boston doesn't do more albums. I wish they would. They're more or less a live act now. I wish they would just get together and go out on tour, but it's kind of hard with the original singer Brad Delp not being no longer with us. Phenomenal singer. Doesn't get the recognition that he is. That he is a terrific vocalist, but he can sing. I put him up there as a top 5 or 10 vocalists in the world. So I liked this one. I like all of them, but this one's a good one too. This one I actually got. This is a replacement copy. I got it yesterday. Had it mailed in to me. I bought this from the record store for very relatively cheap. I lost it because I think it either got smushed or got thrown out. I'm not real 100% sure, but Third Stage. This one has the classic songs. Amanda, We're Ready, The Launch. Cool Your Engines is a good track. My Destination, A New World, To Be a Man, I Think I Like It. Can't You Say, Still in Love, and Holly Ann. All these are right around the time I was starting to listen to them, and didn't know much about their back history. I did know the song More Than a Feeling, but I didn't know who sung it. And there's the CD and the booklet. I remember, there was a gap when I was doing research on Boston, that there was a gap with the band about, oh boy, from this to this. I think it was a period of like 8 years. They came out with this one from Don't Look Back, and I always did like this band. And you can't go wrong with them because Tom Scholz is a great guitar player. Doesn't get the recognition he does for being so good, but he is. In fact, he recorded the first Boston album in his basement, and then him and the producer went on, shared the co-producing credits. And from Epic Records to MCA Records, Tom Scholz knew what he was doing, and it was just so long between albums. I wish they wouldn't. And also, I got this one I bought when I was 16. This was the first Boston album record, little 45 record, 7-inch that I bought from Kmart, I believe, because I would go get a allowance of $5 every 2 weeks, and I would spend it buying either records or buying a magazine of my favorite hard rock, heavy metal. I was only 16, and it's 40 years later, and I kind of protect the picture sleeve, and it's the only Boston record that I ever had for the majority of the 80s and 90s, except for the cassette that I owned, and this is the only one I had, and it's We're Ready. Like I said, I bought this when I was 16 because I was more into heavy metal and guitar oriented rock, which I love to this day. And there's the 45 like I said, I bought the majority of my 7-inch singles I bought when I was a teenager. I got a mishmash of all sorts of 45 singles. I got Metallica 1, Wingers 17, The Jets, Crush on You, Lisa Lisa and Occult Jams, Head to Toe, White Snake, Here I Go Again. Oh gosh, it's just really a mishmash of what I had, and I kept them in a box for years, because later on I got a stereo system for Christmas one year, for when I was 15, and I was able to listen to records and cassettes, and that's the only thing I had for a while, and that finally gave up in 1993, 92, 93, when I was listening to it, and all of a sudden it just went and quit. That's the thing, stereos don't last long anymore. But I always did like Boston. And this is from my original 45s that I had. I'll do a video on that, my 45s, later on in another video. But last but not least, this is the last Boston album I have. I bought it the other day when I was at the record store, saw it, and just picked it up, and it's okay, but I think it would have been better if Brad Delp would have sang on it. Boston's Walk On. It's okay. It did very well. It's sold 1 million copies. But I Need Your Love is a good track. Surrender to Me, Living for You is good. The Walk on Medley is okay. What's Your Name? Magdalene is a good song. We Can Make It. All these are relatively good tracks. It's just that I had a hard time with it because Brad Delp did not sing on it, and the vocals were done by Frank Cosmos, David Sykes, Tommy Funderbrunk. I'm saying it right. My eyes are really bad. But I know that this came out in the 90s. There was a gap, another 8-year gap between albums, between Third Stage and this one. But I've always liked Boston for some odd reason. They always had a special place in my heart, especially the artwork. The artwork on these albums are just second to none. I mean, whoever does them, I really do like them. I mean, they're especially like the back of the cover of Don't Look Back. Kind of reminds me of Superman's Fortress of Solitude. And this one, when I heard the backstory that he recorded it by himself, played all the instruments, I was very more respectful towards him because I didn't really know. But anyway, I wanted to come on here and share with y'all what I got. So this is Revolution Ricky signing off. Keep spinning that vinyl and the CDs, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.